Hey all, my name is Mark, and in this video, I'm going to be paying a few of my Takumars a little extra special attention, because they were the first lenses to help me fall in love with vintage lenses, and it's time. Now, modding is the name of the game, and as much as I love my super multi-coated Takumars, my least favorite thing about them is that pesky M42 screw mount. It's just not a great mount for modern use, especially since I use these lenses more for video than I do for stills, hence the revised form factor on my 35mm here. Now, even with light focusing, the screw mount can easily come unscrewed, which is a huge pain in the butt. Now, depending on how you use these lenses, this may or may not be a problem, but for me, it's a problem. For some of my other lenses I primarily use for video, I have mounted dedicated EF mounts like my Contax and Leica Rs. This allows me to use them with my EF adapter on my S1H and my Red Komodo. And when I saw SIBMOD was offering up LPL mounts, I was curious and figured if I'm going to upgrade these lenses into the 21st century, best do it with LPL. So, what is LPL? The LPL mount is the new ARRI standard and stands for Large Positive Lock. It's the first universal mount designed specifically for digital formats. Because of the new dimensions, it can allow for lens designers to design smaller, lighter, and faster lenses with enhanced image properties. Now, in the early 1980s, ARRI developed the PL mount, or Positive Lock, which was the universal standard mount for 16 and 35mm motion picture cinema lenses. Now, as we slowly moved into the digital age, the PL mount would reveal a number of limitations when working with lenses on digital sensors. The LPL was developed specifically to address these limitations. Now, while the two do look the same superficially, the LPL mount has a wider diameter of 62mm versus the PL 54mm, and a shorter flange focal distance of 44mm versus the PL 52mm. Now, the biggest benefit of using LPL on vintage lenses is that it ensures compatibility. Certain M42 mount lenses simply cannot be adapted to PL, and I should say, once you use a positive locking mount on any camera, it's very hard to go back. There's no wiggle or play, and with heavy use, this becomes essential. Now, I figured since my Contax and Leicas are already modded, I'd show a little mod love to my Takumars and upgrade them fully into the digital era, and who knows, maybe get these on the front of an Ariel F at some point. The Takumars are making splashes in the video field, even going as far as rehousing options starting to be offered. Good optics, solid build quality, and unique character. Plus, you can still get them at a discount price, but Now, these are the new M42 to LPL hard mounts made from solid brass. Now, they work on all M42 lenses, but there is a Pro Lock feature that is only compatible with Pentax super multi-coated Takumars. Now, the Pro Lock system prevents unscrewing of the lens from the mount or the adapter, giving it a rock-solid connection. Now, it did say super multi-coated because many of the super Takumars don't have this locking ring. The locking ring is something that came along a bit later in the design of the lenses. Like my 8-element super Takumar 50mm, for example, does not have a locking ring, and the adapter will still work with it, but you won't get that Pro Lock feature. So with these mounts inside the box, there are 3 shims, which you may or may not use, a set of screws, 8 black and 3 silver, 2 rings, and the mount itself. Unscrew the pilot base plate from the mount. This is the pilot, and this is the LPL mount itself. Now, to install the mounts, first thing you need to do is screw the pilot base plate onto the lens. Make sure it's on there nice and snug, but just be sure not to over tighten. Next, the Pro Lock ring gets installed over top of the pilot base plate. It's called the Pro Lock ring because you'll notice right here there are 2 little tabs. Line these tabs up with the locking pin on your lens, and boom, fits in there perfectly. I should mention that there are 2 sides to this Pro Lock ring, and because we're screwing this into the base plate, make sure the side with the wider opening is installed facing up, where you see these little ridges and grooves there. Now, next, we're going to take the 8 black screws that came with the package and just screw them into the locking ring here. Now you probably don't need all 8 as long as you screw at least 1 screw into each little section here, but I'll lose them if I don't, so I'm just gonna install all of them. Now, these are tiny and easy to install, but I would recommend not over tightening. You don't want to strip these so you can remove them later on if you want. Just make sure they're on there nice and snug. Now once that's done, we'll take the LPL mount itself and install it onto the lens. Now notice the top center of the lens is marked by this little reddish orange line. We're going to line up the red dot on the adapter, not this red dot, that red dot, with the red dot on the lens. Now once that's lined up, use just a little bit of force to lock it in. Then we're going to use the 3 silver set screws to secure the mount to the lens. Now these are a little bit tricky to install, so I would recommend using some tweezers, and if you've got a magnifying glass, that's probably going to help a lot as well. Now once that's done, simply screw on the pilot guide and voila, you have an LPL converted super multi-coated Takumar. The absolute bang for your buck using the system is that it allows for a robust connection between lens and camera body with no wiggle, no play, a true positive lock. Now installation is super easy and there are no legacy screws to remove. So if you've done any mount modding in the past, you'll know how easily it can be to strip those legacy screws when swapping mounts. Now it's also very easy to reverse. So if I need to use these lenses on my old film cameras, I just need 5 minutes and a safe space to store these teeny tiny screws. Now I know LPL mounts are not for everybody, but depending on the project I'm working on, I like to sneak a Takumar or 2 on the lens set just because everybody seems to like the way they look, and this mount option makes them rock freaking solid, and I'm happy with that. Remember a few years back when I shot that development reel for Netflix? Well, that project is still in development. COVID kind of threw a wrench into it and things have developed since that's taken it in a new direction, but development in film and television series is a high-risk endeavor. For every 10 series pitched, you might get 1 greenlit, and that's if you're freaking lucky. It's probably more like 4.3% success rate versus 10. Anyway, that's it for me. What do you guys think of the LPL modded Takumar? I kind of think it looks badass. Imagine this thing on an LF. Curious. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'm really looking forward to telling you about my latest lens purchase. It's just the worst experience I've ever had. The worst. But are the images worth it? I guess check back to find out. See you guys next time.